Arr, matey.
That was horrendous.
I know. Welcome to the 16th episode of ML Backstage. My name is Mars Luna,
And I'm Ethan.
and we're introducing this podcast straight from the 6th dimension. This is a music commentary podcast hosted by all of the Pegasi today. I'm excited because we're on some intergalactic pirate vibes with Treasure Island, baby! Earthlings, grab your popcorn and let's get started. Back to planet Earth we go!
What's good, everybody? Welcome to episode 16 of ML Backstage. My name is Joshua Luna, and I'm here with the homies here. I'm here with Orion's Belt. I'm here with Holokahiki Toves, back again, and Kainalu Kamai. If you're watching on YouTube, he's actually driving right now, heading to pick his mom up from pick up his mom at the airport. So
Gotta multitask a little bit.
multitask is what you call commitment. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes, sir.
So, to those who are new here, ML Backstage is a podcast that goes over the backstories and like the behind the song. It's basically behind the scenes look at all of my stage name, alter ego, Mars Luna's projects and songs, and kind of just digging into it. You know what I'm saying? And we, the three of us, have a good time. We kind of just mess around, and these are my best friends since high school. So yeah. Nalu, we'll start with you since you're driving. How's it going, bro?
Hey everybody, I am doing A-OK as always. Not much to update.
Not much.
Kind of
Kind of boring. other than driving and picking up your mom for the airport. Okay.
Yeah.
And you offline before we went on, he's normally your schedule is you have dawn patrol at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and then you have some time and then you pretty much spend the whole day at the beach and you go to work, right?
Yes.
But
usually,
you didn't do anything today.
Actually, yeah, today it's still my day off. There is no surf, barely, so that's why I took a day to rest and run some small kind errands. Like I bought a new watch because I lost my other ones.
Okay. I gotta get a
Wow.
new watch. I gotta get a new watch too, probably.
It was either an Apple Watch or this hella fresh Nixon.
Oh, hold up. We have a phone call, ladies and gentlemen.
What?
Yo, what's up, bro?
What's up, my boy?
What are you doing right now?
Right now, I am going through some stuff on the computer.
Oh, okay. I was calling because we're doing a podcast right now.
Oh, right now?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Send me the link for a Zoom meeting. I'll be in like 5 minutes.
Okay. The link is on the group chat, so we can actually stop this right now and wait till we'll restart it again. We literally just started, so.
Oh, perfect. Sounds good.
All right, bro. I guess I'll see you on in a bit then.
Yeah.
Shoots.
All right.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll stop this recording, keep the meeting on, and then we'll go at it again.
Yeah.
Dang.
Good practice, everybody. Good
Yo.
practice.
Yeah. Welcome back to episode 16 of ML Backstage. This is actually take 2 because Kainalu was in this meeting. Kainalu Kamai was in this meeting earlier, but he went to pick up his mom and had to cancel. So here we are. We're back, and now we have a new variation of Orion's Belt with myself, Joshua Luna, Holokahiki Toves, and Scott Yago back with us again. And how have you guys been?
Holo, you first.
Yeah, Holo, you first, bro.
Actually been doing really well, surviving. I'm in a great headspace now. Drumming. We've been doing a lot of graduation parties with my Tahiti group headed Tamanui. So a
there we
lot
go.
of
There you go.
graduations are coming through June, July, and a lot of food, a lot of Hawaiian
Oh.
food.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Sorry, guys.
Oh.
My mouth is watering just the
Oh,
just the sound
yeah.
of hopio, like
Oh
being on
my
keto, and I cannot eat hopio and poi.
It's a kulolo on it.
Oh, kulolo! Oh my goodness, get out of here!
Oh.
Haulolo?
Okay.
Ah, even
Oh,
worse.
man.
So yeah, that's actually gonna be on my days that I don't eat healthy. So it actually works
Yeah,
out.
that's your cheat day. It's your cheat day, bro.
And then working out has been going good. A lot of rain, so it's been really, really
Right.
tough. But
Oh.
other than that, it's actually been really good, really
Mhm.
well. Like I accept what's happening right now. It's
Right.
going at a great pace. So I told the boys what's going on, and
Yeah.
they agree with me what's happening, and they have their
Correct.
full support. And
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
For
some
sure.
great things are gonna happen soon, and I'm crossing my fingers, man. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
bro. Yeah, bro.
Praying for you, dog.
Prayers.
Yes, sir.
Prayers. Yeah, I'll go next.
Yeah, Josh.
So, I would say that July is off to a pretty great start so far. This is probably the most at peace I've been this year being here in Vegas, especially juxtaposed to the last 2 months, which were utter complete garbage for things that were not my fault. But I discussed that. I discussed that a couple months ago. But it's all good. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I feel a lot of weight has been lifted off my chest, and burying some skeletons that needed to be buried. A long time ago, but just now, getting older and processing certain things, and just and just now everything is just kind of getting back into the swing of things again with music, and kind of getting my joy with that back, and just releasing some Mars Luna jams, and with Scotty over here, and more projects are coming. So the dog days are almost over. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Dog days
Yes,
are
sir.
almost over, and and I've been, like Holo said, I've also been in a good headspace and heart space, and also just learning how to live a life of surrender, right? And just acknowledging that things may not work out the way that you want it to go. But I was telling Holo before the podcast started that things may not make sense when you want it to make sense, but when they happen, it'll be like, oh, I get it now. I completely understand what's going on. So that's kind of where I'm at. Everything's good here right now, and hoping and praying that everything that this momentum continues. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm also gonna, before I forget, I'm also gonna be flying back home next at the end of August. So it's home.
Getting ready.
So I'm getting excited to come back home for a bit, and yeah. Scotty,
I'm stoked about that, bro. I'm super stoked that you're coming home pretty soon, man. And it's like I was expecting January because you said January in the beginning, and then now it's September. But but what I'm saying is I get to see you beforehand, and we can actually like dive into this even deeper, this music venture. And it's like life's been okay. It's been very day by day. How do I put this in the right words? It's moment by moment, and being present in the moment.
Yes.
Being present in the present. And like with what God's doing in my life, it's like I'm at that season where it's I think the thing he's working on me the most is obedience.
Right.
And being obedient in trying to not chase the things that I want, but more so he wants me to chase the thing that he's trying to put into my life. So it's been feeling kind of like up and down, But
yeah,
besides that, music has been like it's opened up a new avenue, and working on Treasure Island and all of this, like with you, Josh, and Holo being like the hype and like that ear that we need to
right.
hear, and like all of this stuff, it's just happening so fast. Because the last I remember was when we were talking about when we released Intergalactic Summer. And next thing you know, it's just bang, 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 bang,
Yeah,
and we have other tracks coming out, and I'm
Yep.
like, oh man, you're keeping me busy as a producer. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
I just like
This is a part of the plan.
Yep.
That was exactly how I intended it to. So,
and
it's
and it's crazy. It's crazy how fast it's happened. And you think like, oh, summer, oh, it's a long time from now, 6 months, and then next thing you know, it's here.
It's here already. Yeah.
Oh, it's here, and oh snap! I need to remix everything. I need to mix and make sure it's ready for a master. But then like you remind me that this is like your EP before we
exactly
tracks and
exactly. Yep.
yeah,
Like this is a no pressure thing. Like,
and it's so fun.
It's fun. Exactly.
It's
like
so fun.
And that was the whole purpose of this. So yeah. What you said actually segues to what I have coming next with some about what you said, Scott, about living life day by day, moment by moment, and just trying to surrender and live life in obedience. Because like I'm gonna dig deep into what what the latest Mars Luna song Treasure Island is about, because it's kind of a handful, but just some brief stuff. So brief context behind the creation of this version of Treasure Island, because this song was not a new song. This song was actually old. This is an old song that was made new. I remember the day that I actually put the lyrics down to your beat, Scott, because I was hanging out with my friend. We went to watch a movie. I believe it was Candyman, at the Palace Station Casino here. And I remember I was in a inspired mood, right? So I was kind of scrolling through some of the beats that you sent, Scott, through the group chat, and I found this beat, and it was called Placebo. And I remember liking the beat a lot, but I didn't know what to write at the time. So I was just kind of scrolling through some old lyrics that, and see what works. And I remember I was scrolling through my notes, and I found the Treasure Island lyrics that I wrote back in 2016. And I was 2016. This was before Mars Luna even existed. So I was listening to the beat, and I really loved that particular beat. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to write something to this. And then as I was coming home, I was listening to it after I watched the movie. I was listening to it over and over again just to see how everything would flow. And I think I recorded it like right when I got home, when I had something, when I was in the zone already, right? And I think I sent it over to you guys the next day, and Scott was like, oh yeah, I was like, yeah, this is fire, bro. So I was like, okay, sweet, we got one, we got one already. So that was kind of like the whole thing behind this version of Treasure Island, because I believe I posted, or Mars Luna posted on Instagram, the original version of Treasure Island. It was like very like turbulent. It was like it was a very turbulent version. It was like like kind of like a pirate ship stuck in the middle of sea, and it's raining outside. Like it was a lot more turbulent. And this one's more of like, okay, this is like Vegas in summer type of vibe. So
yeah.
And it released in the perfect time. So it was just like, that's kind of like the gist of like how this version of Treasure Island came to be. But if we were to talk about Treasure Island, this is going to get pretty theological here, or biblical here. God be with me. You know what I'm saying? And so lyrically, Treasure Island was loosely based off of the scriptures in Matthew 6:19-21 and Luke 12:33-34, which talks about laying up treasures in heaven. And Matthew 6, I'm gonna run this down as fast as I can, just to kind of give context here. So Matthew 6:19-21 says, "Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven where neither moth nor rust destroys and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." And Luke's account of this same passage says, verse 33 of chapter 12, "Sell your possessions and give to the needy. Provide yourselves with money bags that do not grow old, with a treasure in the heavens that does not fail, where no thief approaches and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." So they both end in the same way. So I have several notes here that study notes that I have regarding these two passages. So, and I'm going to run them down as quickly as I can. So Luke 12:33-34. So selling your possessions and giving to the needy is a strong emphasis in Luke's version of the gospel. And the phrase money bags that do not grow old is a metaphor for the place where one stores treasures, because the believer's treasures, meaning like people who believe in Jesus, their treasures, rewards are stored in heaven. His or her money bag, which is the heavenly storehouse of their treasure, will never wear out, will never fail, and is safe from being stolen by thieves and moths and corroded by rust. Matthew 6:19-21. In contrast to the world's preoccupation with possessions, the disciples, who are, again, the believers and followers of Jesus, are to be characterized by exceedingly great generosity, especially to those in need. And for context, additional context, like Jesus spoke in parables. So it's just like, hypothetical situations and sayings that, back up his teachings. And in Matthew 6:20, the phrase laying up for yourselves treasures in heaven implies that people have a choice between choosing activities or treasures that lead to earthly rewards, verses 2, 5, and 16, and those who store greater future and eternal rewards in heaven. Although we technically, as humans, have a choice of which treasures we choose, the consequences of making the wrong choice are shown to be eternally disastrous. Mark 8:36 and Luke 12:20-21. Matthew 6:21 and Luke 12:34 state that for where your treasure is, whether it's on earth or in heaven, there your heart will be also. It's a solemn reminder that emphasizes the importance of the disposition of one's heart. The scriptures refer to the heart as the center of one's being and one's deepest desires, including one's reason, convictions, emotions, and will. And the nature of one's heart is reflected in the things that one values the most. Yep. Matthew 6:20-21, again, as I mentioned earlier, implies that we have a choice of whether to choose earthly treasures and eternal treasures. But in the Bible, the correct answer is obviously eternal treasure. And more specifically, the Lord Jesus and the promise of eternal life that we have in him. Yep. The Bible mentions in Matthew 10:41 that the believer who serves the Lord faithfully in this world will be rewarded. A great reward. And in Revelation 22:12 also says a great reward is promised to those who are persecuted for Jesus' sake, and persecuted meaning like going through trials and tribulations for the sake of the gospel, are persecuted for Jesus' sake, and that Jesus will bring rewards with him when he returns. And 1 Corinthians 10:31 suggests that when Jesus is our treasure, we will commit our resources, which is our money, our time, our talents, to his work in this world. And our motivations behind the things we do are eternal, with a kingdom-minded and heaven-minded point of view, as opposed to a short-sighted and earthly view. And my last note regarding this is, speaking of earthly treasures and making the wrong choice, in Matthew 19:16-30, a rich young man was religious, but he loved his possessions and treasures more than God, a fact that Jesus astutely pointed out. The issue wasn't that the man was rich, but that he treasured his riches and did not treasure what he could have in Christ, which is eternal life. Because going back, he asked Jesus, the man asked Jesus, "What do I need to do to have eternal life?" And Jesus told the man to sell his possessions and give to the poor, and a quote, "You will have treasure in heaven, then come follow me." And the young man left Jesus sad and miserable because he was rich with earthly possessions. He chose this world's treasure and so did not lay up treasures in heaven. And he was unwilling to make Jesus his treasure and savior. And Jesus exposed his heart of greed. So this young man was religious. He knew all the rules of the Old Testament and stuff like that, but he wasn't willing to give up the things that he needed to give up in order to follow Jesus, basically. So treasures, my own personal note is that treasures, more specifically earthly treasures, are idols. And idols are good things that are unnecessarily elevated to being God things. The ultimate treasure is Jesus Christ and the joy, peace, and eternal life that we have in him. And that's kind of like the biblical kind of context behind Treasure Island. And when I wrote this song back in 2016, that was kind of the framework that I had in mind when I wrote this song. But I didn't necessarily want it to make it a quote unquote worship song, but as much as is a song about that has spiritual undertones, which a lot of Mars Luna songs have. So yeah, that's the biblical rundown of Treasure Island. And before, go ahead, Scott.
No, my bad, Josh. It's funny because how you mentioned how like we had two different perspectives because my pastor preached on this too, and instead it was more so a focus too. Like it's interesting. Like yeah, you're supposed to place God and Jesus is supposed to be your number one treasure, but also he also speaks in the passage about protecting that so-called treasure. So what is that? And right, and so in my Bible, I didn't even, bro. This is a trip. This is so Jesus, like for real. When I put on verse 21, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. I put a note over there and said treasure, and then in my messy handwriting, super messy, it says talent. Your treasure is your talent, because he speaks about how the thief doesn't come to steal. Like, how can thieves don't break into empty houses? Right. And so he also talks about protecting that treasure. So when we protect that love that we have for Jesus, it's and your talents and stuff that you use to serve the Lord, that's also like added in there, and that's a different perspective. Like look at it. And so it's crazy how this song ended up being so closely attached to I feel like everyone in our age group and everyone upcoming is thinking about things where in the world they're so how do I put this? They're so possessive about like what they physically have in their hands instead of what they spiritually have in their hearts.
Right. And that's ultimately the point of those two passages too. Like the last part says, for where your treasure is, there, that's where your heart is also. That's where your heart is also. And that's ultimately what it is. Like that's what I meant when I said like treasures. Your treasures are because I read from the ESV, so it was like the interpretation is a little different. So it's, they're like, I equated them to idols.
Yeah.
If I equated them to idols in the sense of like, they're good things that are unnecessarily elevated to God things, and they end up becoming things that you worship, and the things that you like that you kind of hold on to unnecessarily. And
right.
And also, like, I also, going back to what I learned over the last like 2 months, is like, don't hold on to things that aren't holding on to you anymore.
Woo-wee.
So it's like,
oh,
it's just one of those things where it's like, you don't hold, you
that's
don't,
pretty deep.
so you don't like, you don't try to hold, because you can be revisionist about the past, right? Like, you can hold on to, you can have certain things about the past, but like, the past is the past for a reason. Like, it can be cool to reminisce on, but like, if you're wanting to go back to those times, then that's a problem. So yeah, do not hold on to things that aren't holding on to you. Before I go into Scott's breakdown, I want to talk about real quick Treasure Island and its connection to Vegas, and how these specific passages talk about Vegas as a whole, and like why it's called Sin City, right? And this is probably one of the few cities in the world that actually Las Vegas is one of the few cities in the world that actually glamorizes the sin. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. So I read an article yesterday called "Why Vegas is Known as Sin City," and it's all going to lead to Treasure Island. So a few notes, just quick rundown. So Las Vegas is a paradise and haven for guilty pleasures and uncensored fun. Sin City is the perfect place to be for high roll gambling, world-class live entertainment, elite shopping, fine dining, and VIP clubbing, things that Vegas is known for today. So I'm gonna go from note to note here. So the first part is the Meadows. So the Spanish name of Las Vegas is the Meadows, which is ironic because there are no meadows in the Las Vegas Valley. Las Vegas was discovered in the 1800s by Mormon missionaries, and the land was viewed at the time as an oasis in a barren desert. It may also be ironic that Sin City was discovered by Mormon missionaries, but it was viewed as an ideal location to link Salt Lake City and Southern California via railroad, which tracks because, pun intended, tracks because Salt Lake City has a lot of Mormons. And, which is why Vegas grew into a beacon for railroad personnel and agricultural activities in the early 1900s. The rise of Sin City. In 1930, the construction of the Hoover Dam took place. It's a dam that provides irrigation water and hydroelectric power, and to control seasonal flooding of the Colorado River, which is the body of water that flows through the Hoover Dam. Thanks to this event, workers flocked to the Las Vegas Valley. Since the majority of these workers were men, some perceptive people predicted that the demand for a certain type of lodging and entertainment would be high. This is when hotels such as the Fremont and Northern Club opened their doors, complete with addictive slot machines, bars, and showgirl theaters. To no one's surprise, it wasn't all fun and games. Mobsters assimilated into the scene, bringing criminal activity with them. It wasn't long before prostitution and other shady businesses became highly prevalent. With male-oriented entertainment and crime floating around, Vegas earned its notorious nickname of Sin City. That's in the 1930s, sorry. The end of Block 16, this is the 1940s. Block 16 was a famous red light district in Sin City that lived out its infamous glory days until it was shut down by the Army in 1941. Located on First Street between Ogden and Stewart Avenues, which is downtown Las Vegas today, Block 16 got its spot on the town map used to create Las Vegas. At the time, this part of town, downtown, was known for saloons offering illegal prostitution and illegal selling of alcohol during Prohibition era. After the Army raided Block 16, an attempt to clean up Las Vegas ensued. But during this time, Las Vegas gangsters Bugsy Siegel and Myers Lansky had a monopoly on the hotel and casino industry, establishing the Flamingo, the Sands Hotel and Casino, and the Tropicana. Revenue was pouring in nonstop. Las Vegas was and still is a gold mine. The entertainment capital of the world. This is from the 50s through the 70s. With Las Vegas having gone through a major glow up and business now booming, it didn't take very long for the city to gain another nickname, the entertainment capital of the world. Skyrocketing into the stratosphere, Vegas transformed into a stage for internationally acclaimed artists to showcase their talent, including stars like Elvis Presley and Frank Sinatra. And if you guys have seen the Elvis movie, it's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot. The excitement offered in this time evolved from NSFW to full-on live entertainment that catered to a wide demographic. From world-renowned musicians to cabaret to musicals and everything in between, that's how this valley changed into a top destination for all types of people who just want to vacay away from reality or cause a bit of chaos. I'm going to go back to that last sentence in just a bit. Sin City today, this is from the 80s to today. It wasn't until the 1980s when Las Vegas fully morphed into the vibrant landscape it is today, with giant resorts, hotels, casinos, shopping malls, and sports facilities. Shout out to the Golden Knights, Raiders, Aces, and Aviators, bedazzling the Las Vegas Strip and downtown Las Vegas. Sin City became a true gangster's paradise. It may have cleaned up its act since its thriving strip club days, but sinful trouble is there for those who seek it. Now, the connection to Treasure Island. So a couple sentences ago, I said the Vegas Valley changed into a top destination for all types of people who just want to vacay away from reality or cause a bit of chaos. And that's exactly what Vegas is. And that kind of encapsulates Treasure Island in a nutshell. Treasure Island is a casino in the Las Vegas Strip. It's a pirate and Caribbean themed casino on the Las Vegas Strip that was built in 1993. It's oldest, yeah. It originally had two shows, the Battle of Buccaneer Bay, which is a kid-friendly pirate show that occurred in the 90s and early 2000s, and Siren's Cove, which is a sultrier, more adult-driven pirate show with singing mermaids that occurred from the mid-2000s to the early 2010s. Neither of the shows exist today, but Treasure Island, in my opinion, it serves as a microcosm of what the Las Vegas Foundation is built on. It's a tourist trap. It's an escape and a place where people can go to F some ish up and blow some. I mean, I'm not wrong though, and blow some money away for a few days. Las Vegas is definitely a city that caters more to its visitors, and this is more of a personal note, is definitely a city that caters to it more towards its visitors, and there aren't really a lot of homegrown things that cater towards its locals, thus causing some tension among us, me included. But I still love it here, you know what I'm saying? But just the context of like how Vegas as a whole ties into all this, because you know the title is based off of a casino out here, so you know I just wanted to tie everything together with those things, with you know the script, with laying up treasures in heaven in the Gospels and Vegas's history and how it ties in. And Kainalu just sent a text saying that he's in Sakura restaurant. Okay, cool.
What?
And
he's by my house.
Right, that's what he said. He's by your house. My goodness. But
I'm just gonna tell him, dude, just walk up to my room right now and hop in the podcast.
Yeah, just go.
Keep going. It's interesting. I like hearing about the history of Vegas because my mom was
Vegas?
a heavy. Yeah, my mom was a heavy history or heavy goer of Vegas. In fact, she's the only one that I know. She's the only one I know. She'd be like, "Play this machine," and I played it, and it gave me money. And I'm like, "How do you know?"
Oh, she know, right?
She know. How does she know?
She knew.
Yep, she always tithed though. I'll tell you that. Every time she won like $1,200 from the machine, she gave her $120.
For sure.
It's
Filipinos haven, bro. It's a Filipino haven out here. But
that's true. That is true.
And the funny thing is, all the Filipinos congregate in the same area, so I know where all the Filipinos are, and they're
Seafood City, baby.
Seafood City.
Seafood City.
All of them. Not even the one on Tropicana. It's all of them, baby. Let's go.
All of them.
Let's go.
Right. Even the one right by my place.
Yup.
It's funny, but no, Vegas is a funny place. It's very interesting. You can't say that you can't say that it's boring.
It isn't.
It's not boring. It may
There's
not
always stuff to do.
It's not. I mean, they call it the entertainment capital of the world for a reason, right? It may not be everybody's cup of tea, but there's always stuff to do.
Mhm.
You know, it's always like, granted, like the Strip is not necessarily where the locals go, but you know, it's Treasure Island. But like, shout out to Treasure Island, the casino. It's got free parking. You know what I mean? And they got the mall right across it. It has a walkway. You know, it's right next to the Venetian and the Palazzo and all the nice casinos right next door.
Favorite.
Right next door. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Vegas there's a lot of transients. There's a lot of people who come and go. There's a lot. It's known for that. So like, I've noticed a lot of changes in the 7 and close to 8 years that I've been here. So, you know, it's kind of like, it's always interesting seeing the changes, especially coming from Hawaii, where there aren't really a whole lot of changes that happen. So it's.
Are you telling me it's been the same since I remember? Oh, it's not completely the same, but I lied. Yeah, it's been pretty the same. You haven't missed much. When you come back home, you can just be like, oh, yeah, I'm back in Hawaii.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Legit, like you can be like, oh yeah, I'm back home.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like it's more, infinitely more laid back. So I mean, it's closer to family, so it is what it is. Now, since it talked about the biblical and theological perspective on Treasure Island and how it connects to Vegas and its history, let's talk about the production breakdown, since Scott Yago produced this record. And yeah, I like this one. This is the Vegas summer vibes right here.
I'm not gonna lie, Josh. Like when I first made this beat, I was inspired by two things, and it was this band called The Hold Up, and by Sicko Mode.
Sicko Mode. Okay.
Yeah, Sicko Mode had a heavy influence on. Sorry, my Apple Watch went off. Had a heavy influence on the organ part that I'm gonna highlight first.
Okay.
If you listen to the kind of organ,
Nalu sent over his sashimi.
What did he say?
He sent a picture of his
on. You can't over sashimi. Drop it off at my house.
Anyway, for those who are listening, Kainalu is sending us pictures and pictures of sashimi, since he's having dinner with his mom. So keep going. Sorry.
I might just drive down there, order a whole bunch of stuff, and just be like, put it on this guy's name, put it on Kainalu's tab, and then just order it as takeout, and then drive back home.
Bro, you would, Scott.
I would never do that to Kainalu. That's messed up.
For real.
Oh yeah, or that's so Sicko Mode.
Sicko
Mode. This organ that I used is a B3 Hammond. By the way, shout out to Nord, and your guys' Stage 3 compact is what I recorded this whole thing with a little bit of contact, but for the most part. So that line right there actually is on the upper register of the organ, and if for people that don't know, if you listen to the beginning of Sicko Mode, it's wah wah. That's what it sounds like if I play it in the lower register. So I said, hey yo, this is the organ, and I figured it out. So to put it together, you know, that's literally the only part in there. So the Hold Up is these guys from, I think they're from California, if you mistaking me. I think they're from the Bay. but I really resonated with their music because they talk and they sing about heartbreak, and they sing about basically like they sing about very deep emotional scars and being emotionally scarred and trying to love another person. And so that was what I wanted the sound to be like, but I didn't want that emotional aspect, if that makes sense. I wanted it to be a little bit more up, like a summer vibe.
Right.
And so, like Josh was saying, so I came up with this. The effects and stuff it's based off of really spacey because of Josh's very, very heavy intergalacticness.
Right, as evident by the shirt right here. Cosmic
Yep.
existence.
Right?
Solar connection.
Oh, that's the energy.
So my goal for this track was not to be like the goal was this simple. If I can make somebody's head bob while listening to it, it's a bob.
Yeah.
Like that was it. That was just the song. So like if I can, like, the groove is there. It has the touch of Hawaii reggae with the guitar skanks. That was recorded with my guitar. And there's the organ that I was talking about. But I really wanted it to be simple and easily arrangeable.
Right.
And so that's pretty much the structure of Treasure Island as we know it. As you can see, I don't know, I'm not too sure if you can see it saved in the upper right hand corner. I might have it cropped out, but actually what I named it was Placebo. And I named it as Placebo because it's the meaning behind that is it's things where it's basically like, you know how they have control tests for medication where they give patients placebo and the real actual medication, and the placebo effect is they take like a sugar pill, but it actually ends up healing them. And so I kind of had that in mind where it's like the more you bop your head, you didn't do any drugs, you didn't drink anything, but it's healing you in some sort of way because you're grooving to the music. And so I sent it over to Josh and I was like, yo, I got a beat for you. And he was like, oh, yo, I got lyrics. And so literally the same day. And I was expecting next week or 2 weeks later and stuff.
Just like Intergalactic Summer, same thing.
It was so fast. And I was just like, yo, so Josh's stems came in and he sang this line. And I was like, this is it.
So far away.
Took captive of your ship.
But it went off course.
That line, I was like, oh, I'm sold. I'm so sold.
It all in the palm of your
I enjoyed having fun with like experimenting with like my midtones and head voices. So
head voice is impeccable, brother. I love it.
That took time. That took time because going back to 2011, like I was at a worship concert or something like that, and I sang, and I basically sang my heart out. It was like long, long worship nights and stuff like that. And I sang my heart out with a couple homies, and I lost my voice that night, but I lost my head voice for a while, and then it wasn't until like probably a couple years later till I felt confident in it again. And then the more I practiced it, like my voice teacher said that my midtones and my upper registers were like the sweet spot. So and after years of not listening to my vocal instructor because I was stubborn, I decided to try it because I was like, okay, I could be good at this. And like you saying that the head tone, my head voice was impeccable. It was like, that's a testament to me reworking it back, testament to the hard work that, of reworking it back. So appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Bruh, I'm telling you, man. And then, and like you went head voice into full voice in here, and it's all the treasures.
All the treasures supposed to give you pleasure. You got the gold and the map to go to Treasure Island.
And so raw without no verb. I added the verb in to match the track, but it's it's locked in. I didn't have to do anything. No Melodyne, nothing. And I said, this guy's a freak. He's a freak. Locked in key, actually I do not have any actually let's do it for fun since I have it up. I do have an autotune program. You send it to me as a stereo, so if you look at this and I play it,
To Treasure Island.
you are literally, this right here would be like maybe half a cent off where my mouse is. You're on it. You're on.
If you pleasure, you got the gold and the map to go to Treasure Island.
And your vibrato is so pocket that it like the auto tune is like what like this guy is legit. So I didn't have to do much. I literally added some EQ. I added some EQ in, cut off the low end so that I can make headroom or space for the bass of the song. Because if you guys listen to the bass, I'm gonna play it solo, so make sure. Sorry if your ears blow off, but this is the bass, and I use this very simple bass. I'm not gonna tell you which ones because that's secret sauce.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
right there. But when you play this in the car,
Oh, okay, yeah.
it has what I want. You heard it, yeah. So what I wanted for the bass was for someone, if they have a sub installed, for it to be very prominent.
Right.
I want people to blast this song,
And
because
and
I
for,
do.
to
when I
people
go in
who
my car,
use
'cause I have
people who use their subs correctly, unlike some people we know.
very well. Yes.
Nalu.
Kainalu. He's not here with a 10-inch sub, and he literally, like, why do you even have a sub if you turn it down all the way?
And he uses to listen to his Korean music that has no bass in it whatsoever, which is ironic.
I know
It's funny.
I know he's not here to defend himself, but when when he called me up, he said, "Oh, Scott, I'm wiring up my sub." I go, "Oh yeah, oh cool, you getting what's up? What you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I'm wiring it up myself," and I go, "I'm on the way. I'm on the way." And his first wire job, not even joking, Brado and use you know the brown packaging tape at first. I think it was brown packaging tape. Anyway, he used tape to like tape the wires, not hide it underneath the carpet and stuff like that. You know what he did? He literally went just tape them down to like the cover that he had on top of his truck and like on the truck floor, and I was like, "Oh, brother, hopefully no one sees this, bro. You better. I just put your seats down. I guess it's going to match."
Oh my gosh.
This
man.
After that we got his.
This dude.
Yeah,
but anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to derail it there, but
no, I needed to put that out there because that guy was like, "Oh yeah, get one sub," and I'm like, "What sub? You don't even blast your sounds, bro." Or like it doesn't like the mix in his truck is like the bass is so heavy down. It's like you might as well not even have a sub.
It's weird. I've been in this truck before. It's weird. The music listening experience is weird.
Yeah.
Put it that way. But anyway, continue.
Yeah. So going back to the bass, that's the vibe that I wanted from the bass was like when you hear the bass from like tracks from, you know, like the like how do I put it? It's just really clean. It's not 2000s R&B bass because it's really punchy, really like loud. I wanted it to be so smooth, but I wanted the sub to really accentuate the deepness of it, and I think that's like the right way to put it, because if you were to listen, I'm guaranteed if people are watching this podcast on their phones, they won't be able to hear it because it's so deep. But
You got the gold and the map to go. Whoa.
right there, that hit, that that really low.
Yeah,
I think it's like A minor. It just hits, and when I played in my car, and it took me 4 or 5 times actually of mixing and EQing to get that type of sub effect where I wanted it to just be like, oh, if someone wants to play this in their car, they'd be like, and they have a sub, it should be like, oh, you know. And so I went from mixing in my headphones, it sounds really deep, to my monitors, which I got later on. This was actually when I first started using production software to record tracks, like legit production software. Because you know what we used to use, Audacity.
Oh my god.
Audacity, and then the videos was Filmora.
Oh,
hey, look at
Bro.
knows already. He's like,
bro.
Filmora. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still use Filmora, but I paid for it. But anyway, getting back to this, I went through everything. So I have a 12-inch sub, and one of my coworkers has a 15. So I said, perfect, you have a 15-inch sub in your truck. Can I play my track on it so I can hear how it sounds like? And the first initial take, we literally let's just put it this way. We're coming down the street to work, and the guy was like, yo, somebody else from work was like, I could hear you guys inside of the office. And I was like, for about what time? And he's like, oh, it's about like 4:15. And I said, yo, 4:15, we're still on Nimitz Highway, which is about a mile away.
Wow.
Right.
And it was just pounding out and carrying
That's
through. And
wild,
so I said, okay. So I ended up going back to the mix, and redoing the bass to make it a little bit more tolerable so that it's not distorting inside. Because, you know what I mean? Like, if you were to mix with the aim of like, oh, I have all the top of the line equipment, I have all of this good stuff, like how I have really good mixing studio headphones. I have really super, like, oh my god, my monitors are freaking mean. And you guys, when we talk about the future song that's coming out, that was legit the first song that was made from start to scratch on the studio monitors.
Redacted title.
Redacted title. Very redacted. Good thing Kainalu was not here, because he'd be like, oh, and I'd be like, good thing he's not here to say that. He would just say it. You know?
Probably the next episode, next one for sure.
Yeah, so that's the next one on this EP, and then we can't wait for it, man. We can't wait.
No.
Like, we're just releasing all of this so that you guys can actually hear, like, the journey of Josh and the journey of Perseverance, the journey of Holo, and the journey of ABG's on the down low, which is well, yeah. So the bass was really pumping and it was really clear, and so from then on I said, okay, the bass is perfect. I'm just gonna tone it back a little bit, and I'm gonna let it ride. And so going back to what it sounds like, breakdown of the song. You got the gold and the map to go. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to turn on the verb. All the riches that your heart desires. Would you keep wanting more tomorrow? Would you be satisfied in Treasure Island? Would you be satisfied in Treasure Island? Would you be satisfied? Oh, the wind's pushing against the current. You got impatient, so you turned the corner. Trying to find a secret hidden shortcut to reach your final destination. Where you had everything you wanted, all the riches that your heart desires. Would you keep wanting more tomorrow? Would you be satisfied in Treasure Island? And So like for this part, I just said I need to find a way to end the song. Like, should I make a crazy outro? And it just hit me, and I said, nah, drum and bass. That's it.
No, that was it. Like I liked it. I liked the way that it ended.
Less is more.
Exactly, Holo, and that's exactly what I was about to say next. Is I said, nah, less is more, and so it was so easy because it was just so easy to arrange a song because Josh's vocals gave me a very clear direction on where he was in the song, and so like this one where I cut out drums, basically cut it out, right? This what is the third verse?
The wind's pushing against the current.
Yeah. It was third verse, huh?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, third verse. I'm going back and tracking it. So yeah, when at the time I had a crush on this girl whose name sounds pretty close to Current.
Right. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to her. She's a very beautiful woman, and she loves Jesus and she loves the Lord, and I absolutely love it. Wish the best for you, girl. Hope you're doing okay now. Anyway, when you said that line at the time, I was like, I really wanted to just pull everything back and just let your voice kind of take over.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna actually message you about like, yo, please accentuate the T when you say current in this line because one, I'm stuck on this chick that I'm like, or not chick, she's a woman. Like I'm stuck on this amazing girl that like her name is kind of close to current. Not gonna say, but it needs a T.
Very close, very close.
Very close. But I said, I please accentuate the T because it's gonna be cut, the beat's gonna be pulled back. But I didn't even need to say that. Literally, the first file you sent me, vocals wise, I just literally cut everything, and there's no harmonies yet, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all just straight Josh's vocals. And so on this part, I really wanted to accentuate just like we've been in the beat for about maybe about I don't know, 2 minutes and 3 seconds. It says on here, we've been in the beat for that long. I wanted people to just take a break from the beat because like it would help. I think this is the perfect spot for it. But when you said current, I was like, oh, it sounds so good.
The wind's pushing against the current.
That T right there, oh, it's perfect. Oh.
You got impatient, so you turn the corner. Trying to find a secret.
So we're building up, building slowly, bring the guitar back in. And then I added this riser. Just enough to pick you up and drop you back on the beat very gently. I didn't want it to be like one of those drops where it's like, whoa,
it's not like super drastic.
Yeah, and so I wanted this to be more so like beat wise, I really wanted this song to be like that, where you're bopping your head, you're grooving along, or if you're walking, you know, if you're on the bus or something like that, where it's easy to listen to on the ears and easy to listen to on the brain.
Yeah.
And then you have Josh soothingly singing to you with his amazing lyrics. But the breakdown for Treasure Island, and that's what it is, you know, and everything was recorded literally with all that you see that I have here, minus this new MIDI controller that I have on the bottom. I actually had my Nord Stage 3 hooked up, and for those of you who don't know what the Nord is the keyboard that is pretty much the worship standard in all churches.
Yeah.
We have a saying in church for those who serve worship, where the Nord is, the Lord is. So I had to buy one for myself, and so this was Josh. When was this? When did I first send you this? Was it last year?
It was around this time last year, I believe.
Yeah, it was about and that's when I actually a year before that. So I had my Nord for about 3 years, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, and so I just said, yo, all of these things that I'm gonna highlight right now, all the Nord. Here, keys, lead, organ lead, bass. Even the bass was recorded on the Nord. Pretty much the meat of the track, which is all the melodic stuff. The pad is from the Nord. And this pad actually, sorry, I really am proud because I made this pad from scratch. I made it from scratch, and I was so happy. You know what I mean? I didn't use any presets. Sounds kind of close to Soft Pad 1 on Nord Stage Stream, but yeah, I made it. You know, I was like, oh, I made a cool sounding pad, and it was perfect. Yeah, you know, I made it from scratch. It was for those of you music nerds, it is a saw pad. And the cutoff is edited with the attack, and there is no LFO. I decided to not use an LFO for this. But yeah, so if you guys are thinking like, you know, for the music nerds out there, like, wait, does that mean that you ran your Nord into your interface? And you bet your butt I did. I ran it into the interface, and I recorded all of that. Hi-hat loop for the drums, and I'm going to just break down the drums real quick. The kick is really simple. The kick is from this artist called Leno. If you guys want to try produce, and, you know, the kick is pretty much, it's out there on Splice. It's real deep, just enough punch, not like no highs on it, and that's exactly the kick that I wanted. This hi-hat loop from Splice. And, you know, and I said, okay, it kind of needs something. It was too dry, and this came in. And I said, that's perfect, because if not, I was going to have to make the drum loop myself, but I really dig it. So when we put it all together, and there you have your drums. It literally 2 tracks. You know, I was going to try and separate the hi-hats out so I can better mix it, but everything on it was pretty solid for the most part. And I said, I don't have to barely touch it. And I love samples like that where I don't have to touch. And for these custom effects that are on the top, I made these specifically for Josh. I took samples that I got off of Splice, and I heavily edited them. First we have a laser to kind of bring you into the song in context.
Check 1 2. Treasure Island is the place you don't want to be at. You feel me?
You feel me?
So that part was an allusion to Matthew 6 that I talked about earlier.
I love it. Love it, bro. So, that was like exactly check 1 2. Treasure Island is the place you don't want to be at, and that's exactly where you don't want to be.
Yep. Do not.
And you do not, bro. You don't want to be held down by your possessions. You want to have your possessions, but you don't want to be held down by your possessions, right?
Or view them in a way that you're not supposed to. Yeah.
Exactly.
Continue.
Going back to the idols. Mm-hmm. And so I took that laser, I edited it twice on here. To put in perspective, speed up, if it's at 1.0, that means the thing is actually playing at full speed, regular speed. I brought the speed down to 0.10. So if I were to change this to 1, this is actually the original sound file. Look how short it became. Wow. But this is it. That was the original sound file. So I went from this to this, and I'm not gonna show you all the other stuff I did too, because that's kind of secret sauce. But it turned into this.
Wow.
It's such a big difference, you know. It's
that's a fat difference.
Yeah, and I didn't edit anything else, didn't transpose it, but I did process the file later, pulled it out, put it back in. And so I said, okay, now how can I get this to bring it back in? Because it's a sound, right? It's going down. I wanted to go like to bring it back up. So what I did was I took it out, retransposed it, and I reversed the file. So for you producers out there who's trying to figure out how to go far with the limited amount of effects that you have saved or that you bought from Splice, reversing and speeding up are two very good ways of turning something simple into something complex. So this is what it came out to be.
Okay.
You're right.
Right,
So what I
right.
did was, I copied the track down, put the first edited file on the bottom, and I made myself a riser into a drop. And so here's with the drums and Josh's vocals.
Here's to Treasure Island.
Okay.
And there's a drop. That's it. It just like brings you up, and it doesn't drop you. It's like, here you go. It's a very light drop.
Mm-hmm.
And so, shout out.
Simple and subtle. Simple and subtle.
Simple, and that was the whole goal of this track, start to finish. It was just
Check 1 2.
everything together.
Treasure Island is the place you don't want to be at. You feel me? Better treasure stored in eternity. You know what I'm saying? Here's to Treasure Island. You're just a castaway.
Yeah, good job, Scott. Good job,
Yeah.
Scott.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so, I just got a touch basis on the skank guitar, and the guitar I wanted in was the touch, and I have a cheap guitar, very cheap. It's not a Gibson. It is not for sure not a Fender. It's an Ibanez, and I have it downstairs. The guitar. When I break down the guitar, this is it.
Kainalu sent a text saying that the sushi was bomb with his mom. Just an update.
Yeah, but he didn't grab any for us.
He didn't grab any for you guys. He can ship the sushi over, but nah, it's going to smell funky after that when he flies out over here. So yeah. So Scott, we can we I remember you were talking about the guitars before you got cut off.
Cut out. Yeah, the guitar, simple. Skank. I just wanted it in Hawaii. We have this thing called skank.
Yep.
Skank guitar is it's chucks basically. It's chuck up, and that's yep. And so this one I went with a double chuck. Chuck up. And that's all the guitar is, and it adds in just enough flavor. But I wanted what's called a shadow to kind of shadow the bass a little bit. So if you listen to the bass and the guitar, it's not really a complete shadow because the bass is really simple. But I wanted the guitar to take a little bit more of a melodic approach to it.
Yeah.
And so it sounds horrible separate, right? Because they're conflicting a little bit in timing and in melodies. But what holds them all together is the pad.
Yeah.
Yep. And so simple to simple to simple to simple, it's literally that's Treasure Island for you, man. Just putting together different pieces and trying to add in flavor that we have down here in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And trying to make it a little bit more upbeat, and
yeah,
it totally different vibe when I first heard the OG Treasure Island when you showed me it after.
It's different.
It's different. It's so different, but it ends up working out.
Yeah.
And so, ladies and gentlemen,
it's a fusion.
That is Treasure Island. Yeah. I mean, let me just hear. You know which part I want to hear. You know exactly which part I want to hear.
Yeah.
The wind's pushing against the current.
Oh, she's so beautiful. I had to.
Oh, bro.
I had to.
Bro.
I knew you was gonna play that part, but
I know.
yeah, it's. I would say my last thoughts on the song itself. It's a fusion. I call it a fusion. So it has a lot of like, just like how Hawaii is like a cultural melting pot of a lot of different types of ethnic groups and ethnic like food groups and stuff. Like I call this a fusion track. Like this is like you said, Scott, like elements of reggae and elements of elements of R&B in there, which I don't really hear a lot of like R&B reggae stuff out there.
Yeah, it's different.
It's different, and that's kind of what I liked about it. It was just a lot of like interesting experimental combinations that ended up working out, like very Ninth Island type vibes.
Very.
It kind of ties in the Hawaii parts and the Vegas parts together, which I've never had a track like that before. And I would also say that this is like, Treasure Island is like a pirate theme type, with the casino and everything, and also knowing that my favorite football teams are both pirate themed. Shout out to the Buccaneers and the Raiders, and also shout out to Super Bowl 37. But just some random tidbits out there that kind of was like, you know what, a pirate theme song really worked, and that's just Treasure Island. So my last closing question for y'all is I is not my questions, but as I did some studying, some preparing for this episode, I looked up some commentaries on Matthew 6 and Luke 12, and some of the questions that one of the questions that I got for this is well, it's technically two, but they tie together. So I would say, what are the things that seem to govern your life right now, and what are the things that you worry and fret about the most? So I'll go first. So the things that seem to govern my life, and what are the things that I worry and fret the most about, I would say, the thing that governs my life right now is just like what the future is going to look like. Like as you get older, like that, though, what's the next step is often like at the forefront of the conversation, because you like Holo mentioned earlier, we all trying to survive out here, right? So like, I want to make sure that I'm in a good place, I'm in a good space, like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all that, and that's kind of what I've been thinking about, just that part of things. But the thing that I worry and fret the most about, I wouldn't really say worry, but like, I guess like the thing that I fret the most about it is my control of it, and like knowing that, okay, I want things to I would, it would be great if things ended a certain way from my perspective, but life works in a lot of, in mysterious ways, and God works in mysterious ways. So like, that's why I'm learning to surrender my life, surrender my thoughts and my emotions and my feelings, like, day by day and moment by moment, like what you said, Scott. And like, it's been a transforming experience. like I'm realizing what it's like to kind of like, to kind of just, okay, I can pray, I can pray to God and just, cast all my worries and, anxieties to him and just be like, okay, God, like this is it, like just guide my steps, help me to fix my eyes on you throughout the day. And, like it's a process, like it's a process for sure. And, as humans, we often get in our own way, a lot of the time. And I guess like I'm just learning about like the control of the future, learning how to surrender my desire for the control of the future. And those are the things that I'm kind of, you know, fretting over, and like uh the things that's like governing my life. So yeah.
I don't think that's a bad thing, Josh, at all. Like, but yeah, it definitely does have a hold, because everyone has that at one point,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a normal part of life.
Yeah, it is, and it's terrifying though, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think about it, it's like, oh crap, what does the future hold?
It's the uncertainty.
Yeah, and then that's where like I feel like most of people's anxieties come from, is trying to figure out the future.
Yeah. Right.
Just paying attention to what's due now.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you, Holo.
Yeah. Radio silence.
Shoot. What are the things that seem to govern your life? So there is actually two things that kind of shapes how I move through day-to-day life, and that's it's actually, one is external and one is internal. The external one will be resetting, and the internal will be reinventing yourself. So starting with
what was the first one again? Sorry.
Resetting and reinventing. So I will start with the external.
Okay.
Resetting it's more like making sure, it's more like going into how all your things that you take care of, that you have obligations to, that it's clear, it's it's done, it's been fixed upon and put away. For example, I can't sit still if it's raining and my car is drenched, and the next day it's sunny and my car is just whack, like there's water everywhere. I gotta wipe it down. So once when it rains and there's a clear day, the next day I will wipe my car down. And if it rains again, I'll wipe my car down the next day if it's sunny. So it became a muscle memory. So I feel like resetting that, I feel like I'm at ease. Like, okay, what's the next thing? Another example is simple day-to-day stuff, like after I eat, I wash the dishes, I put away dishes, I wipe the dishes, put it away. It's just things that seem that we kind of oversee and not pay attention to, that it goes and it's being done. I don't want to put anything that's out into around the house that are not fixed, not put away. I need everything to be like very neat and detailed, because I feel like when it's detailed, I can think, I can produce, and I can create what I want to do, what I love to do. If everything is out of whack, the energy, the room, how I feel inside, I cannot pay attention. I can't focus on what I want to, bring out, what I have in my head. So I feel like externally, your space, the people that you talk to, just the overall energy that you bring into other people's life and what you surround yourself with, I feel that governs my life so deeply that it becomes where I gotta fix this. I gotta fix this, and it comes to a point where I start to itch. Not like literally itch, but I start to feel like, okay,
you get
this is coming. Yeah, this is coming. This is coming. If I don't fix it, it's gonna be shouting at me. If I don't fix it, it's gonna be actually affecting me. And I hope the viewers feel the same way when things that are kind of off in your world, your universe, that you attempt to fix it and not put it away. Because if you put it away, years down the line, it's going to catch up to you, and it's going to be barging down your door, axe and everything, and you'll be like, I should have fixed this then. Why is it coming up now? Because you didn't do this. So it's like looking at a bigger picture, going into the eternal part, reinventing yourself. I feel like this is more like on the creative side of things. Try to get back into photography, videography. After being on a hiatus for 2 years, I've come to a point where I know what I want to bring to the table. I know what other people are doing, and it's in a sense comforting, because I know the value that I bring to the table, and how my mindset as a person, and being that you are the only one on the earth, you're limited edition, custom made, nobody can take away what you have and what your thoughts is. So when you bring it, when you have that confidence and that mindset to be like, hey, this is what I'm going to be doing, and I want to show everybody that this is my jam, that nobody can touch you. Nobody can touch you. And I feel like reinventing and continue to have that mindset, being a student, and then you go ahead and you become a teacher, and you teach other students, and you become that student again, because they're talking to you, and you're talking in that zone, and you guys are elevating each other, and it just becomes a circle where you're just reinventing yourself. You learn something new, like you have some new tools for music, new tools to take photos. You're reinventing yourself. So it's that constant flow. And I feel like us creators, even people who are writers, producers, the world is changing, so we must change with it, which is why we're reinventing ourselves.
Adapt or die, right?
Adapt or die, man.
Rated R. Right? It's like, and even like the thing that you're talking about, like the external part, I feel it reminded me of clutter, right? It's like you're trying to like get rid of all the clutter, and it's kind of like cleaning a house, right? Like it hits different when like when you clean the house and like knowing that everything feels new and fresh. So that was just kind of what it reminded me of. It's solid. Yeah, that's solid stuff, bro.
We're doing it one by one.
No. It's they go together.
They go together.
They're meant. The questions are meant to go together. So.
Okay.
I split it up on the template, but I mean it's
together. Okay.
They're together. So. Scott, what about you, bro?
Oh boy, it's funny because the answer is quick, short, and simple. And for me, the thing that's governing my life right now is the process. There's 2 ways I look at it. To put it plain and simply, it's I know what's out there for me, and it's gonna happen, and it is for me. Like Holo was saying, you have these things that are for you and are of you that are only you. In my case, it's the things that are for me and for the future that's coming. And I'm currently in a wrestle with God about the process on how it's done. God showed me in a way that he, there's peace behind it when he tells me he's going to do something. And so for me, it's what's governing my life right now is my emotions and fighting the process, and trying to learn how to mitigate that with faith.
Yeah, it's real
It's
stuff.
being tested, you know. It's like
Yep.
it's like, oh, this gonna happen. I know this is gonna happen in the near future. But how it's gonna happen is kind of what I have to learn how to be comfortable with, because a lot of times that we tend to see things that come into our lives, and if it doesn't fit a certain template, a lot of people, including myself, would be like, it doesn't fit this template, so I'm kind of, it's probably not part of my plan. But how would I even know what's part of my plan, right? And so that's what's been governing my life right now, is this constant tugging and constant reshaping of what God has in store for me. I know it's gonna happen. I know it's coming soon. I know it's coming soon. But in the process, is like when and where, and being the thinker that I am, I like to know when is this happening, so I can prepare myself for it.
Right.
So I can set up all the things that I need necessary for it. And he's just simply telling me, you do not need to know. You know, it's kind of like how the apostles were asking Jesus, like, oh, when is this the time that you're, we're going to have redemption, and, the kingdom is going to come down? And he's like, that is not for you to know.
Right.
And,
Yes. That,
and for
he
me,
be like that.
Yeah, he'd be like that. Savage Jesus. Yeah. Savage Jesus. Baby. Yeah. Savage Jesus. Yeah, that's how I think about it. So, the other thing that's been governing my life lately, it's also been trying out new things, but trying to discern whether or not it's by feeling, meaning like if I'm letting my emotions control the new experiences that I want to feel, or if it's something that I'm trying because my soul wants to acquire a new skill or a new experience. So am I doing this to distract myself from the reality of the timeline, or am I doing this because I wanted to genuinely experience it, right? So it boils down to those two options. And it's like, if I want to genuinely experience an experience, then it's if there's peace behind it, then it's of course I'm meant to do it. But am I reacting because I feel like nothing is happening? Am I choosing to do crazy stuff out of emotion? And so, those are the two things that are governing my life right now. It's trying to break away from emotions controlling my decisions, and trying to fall in love with the process. Yeah.
Damn, that was good.
Embrace your odyssey, embrace the strange, right?
Shoot, that was good.
It's a walk, man.
It is. Yeah.
Man, it's a journey.
It's a trip.
It's a trip.
And it's crazy is all of us are going through, essentially it sounds like the same journey, but in different ways of it could be translated.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Appreciate
journey,
everyone.
No. Yeah, for sure. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I know Nalu's probably a different story.
Yeah, I don't know what his journey beyond, but
there's like the timeline here, and then you see Nalu's on.
Okay, right here. Me, Josh, Holo, Nalu. That dog, bro. He is different. He's different. He on some other level stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Holo, with that statement, but
Oh, no worries.
I just had to throw that in there. Had to, but yeah, we reached the end of this podcast. Sky, appreciate y'all coming on, per usual, and appreciate everybody for listening and tuning in. It's been fun doing these, and it's always a good, like, good comprehension type thing where, it's always fun to kick it with the homies. It's always good to, figure out like what the deeper picture is behind the songs and projects that Mars Luna creates. and it's it's an odyssey, it's a journey. And I also want to say before we close out that it this might sound evangelistic out over here, but like you know this world is this world is not meant to be forever.
No.
And um this life that we're on is not meant to be lived just because. And we're talking about Treasure Island and how it's the place you don't want to be in. The ultimate treasure is Jesus, and the joy and the peace and comfort that we have with it in him is it's unrivaled. And it's a process. It's like Scott said, it's a process, but ultimately in the end it's going to be worth it. And this world is trash, but God's always good, regardless. So
Yep.
you can follow the podcast ML Backstage on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you listen to podcasts. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on Apple, follow on Spotify. If you listen to this podcast on Spotify, I have like Q&As and polls type stuff on there that Anchor provides. So shout out to Anchor one time. And you can follow me on Instagram at Luna B Joshua, and you can follow all the music stuff and Mars Luna on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at It's Mars Luna. And you can check out the website at itsmarsluna.com and stream Treasure Island. It's out now. I've had some good responses. Says some good responses through DMs and texts and stuff like that. So that's pretty encouraging. And there's more music coming next month. So the dog days are almost over, ladies and gentlemen. You'll be hearing that a lot. You'll be hearing that a lot on social media. So that's where I'll end on that. Holo?
Why is it always me? No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
I'm just going around in a circle, my boy.
So you guys can follow me on Instagram at Holokahiki Toves on Instagram. Mm-hmm. Let us know, guys. Let us know. Yeah. Let Boss Man know what you guys think about the ML Backstage. Because
it's usually people from church that be listening. But.
Yeah. So yeah, let your friends know. Let everybody know, and let Boss Man know.
Yeah. For sure.
We'll be here.
It's all love. It's all love. And Scott.
Yeah, follow me on IG Music by Perseverance, and if you guys want to check out some of this, I don't post much, honestly. I only post for Josh. But yeah, check it out. Also, I'm just so excited to say these next journeys. Let us know what you think about the music.
Yes.
If it's your cup of tea, if it's not your cup of tea,
no matter.
No matter, just let us know how you feel about it. How's the vibe for you? And as always, hit us up.
Yep.
So.
Mm-hmm. And also I'll plug in Kainalu because he can follow him on Nalu One Photography since he's been interacting with us through text and stuff.
I guess.
I guess. But I want to say that he does share some of the he does share the content as well, and you can follow him on Nalu One Photography or Hawaiian Opa on Twitter and stuff. And I just want to say since he's not here, this man is different on Twitter. He's
different.
He's an entertaining follow on Twitter, and I was saying this before we got on, and I told him before we got on that he's like if Professor Utonium made the Powerpuff Girls and he made Kainalu. It's a mixture of beach stuff and aquamarine type stuff and Hawaii stuff, and he accidentally, and Professor hit the chemical X, and the Korea obsession is basically Nalu's chemical X. So
Chemical K.
So
Okay.
just throwing that out there because he's not here. But yeah, again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Stream the song. Hope you enjoy the episode. And let us know what you think. And stay tuned for next month because the dog days are almost over. So
Dog days.
Over.
So appreciate
Get out of
y'all.
here.
Stay tuned for the next episode.
Shoots.
La da 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 da.
The dog days are almost over, Ethan.
Yes, indeed.
Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this episode of the ML Backstage podcast. If you liked what you heard, follow us on Spotify and Anchor, and subscribe to us on Apple and YouTube at ML Backstage. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at It's Mars Luna. You can find all my music on Spotify and Apple Music, and on my website at itsmarsluna.com. Thank you all for listening and hanging out with us. Hope you're all enjoying Treasure Island, cause next month, say it again with me, Ethan, the dog days are almost over. And oh yeah, that automatically means a new episode.